What is going on, everybody? It's Dan the Mushroom Man. Today we are nerding out with the Rumination project, and we are going to live stream for the first time in 52 years a commercial company landing on the moon. So I hope you guys stay up here. Let me bring the screen up and show you where this thing actually is. We're still about 50 minutes away, 55 minutes away from this thing landing, and it's pretty awesome. There we go. And here where we're at right now, you can actually see it is about to go into descent. Let me turn the volume on.
Little bit of time, head on over to the TLP Network shop.
And this is
That's
actually
where you can get your limited edition IM1T. Global shipping is available. This just dropped. It's only going to be available for a short amount of time, so definitely take a moment and check that out and get something to commemorate today's historic day. We are waiting for that.
So thank you all for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like reaction button. What's going on?
10 minutes time from now, and that is when we will have confirmation.
Yeah. Well, of course they're scared to send people. You don't remember. A lot of people don't know that. Why don't we go to the moon again? Why is it so hard to? But realistically, back then, when we went to the moon, we had men on there, and they only literally had a 6% chance of making it there alive. A lot of people don't know that. NASA actually had the mathematical percentage that these men had to come back alive, and it was actually 6%. Now, they never told that to the men, but literally a miracle happened that these men went to the moon the first time and came back alive. Was nearly a miracle. And I know a lot of you have seen the movie, how it happened. There were moments that nearly caused catastrophe up in space, but they made it through it. So space is hard. It's hard to land on the moon, and today they're really going to try to show that it isn't easy. And we've already had 3 companies before this actually attempted this. One was actually a month ago, and they all their attempts at landing on the moon were all unsuccessful. So we're over 3 in the last 18 months, and we'll have to see what happens tonight. What's going on, Rasta? What's going on, Donna? And I'll actually show this other video that actually kind of highlights what's going on here. Let me bring this hashtag up too. We're going to give away some Lion's Mane while we're here. Get that Lion's Mane. Let me put that up there real quick. We'll put a banner up for the
jackets, gloves, and boots. This is not sponsored content at all, but definitely check out this
giveaway. Hashtag Lion's Mane. There we go, guys. We'll get that going. Giving that getaway again. I know you all know what Lion's Mane is, but if you don't, it's actually one of the products that I offer at Great River Mushrooms. And it is really, really good for brain focus. If you have ADHD, if you have issues with brain fog, really, really helps you accomplish and get through those things, especially ADHD, which I suffer from. So it really helps me fight through that and get rid of the brain squirrels. Yeah, it's only 6%. So they never told the astronauts that, and I wouldn't want to know either, But I mean, the men went to the moon in 1969, and again they went 3 more times until 1972. They went to the moon 3 times, and each time was a little less percentage of dangerous because the first time, it was the first time we've ever gone, so we weren't sure what was going to happen. So, yeah, there's a lot of classified stuff for sure, and a lot of this stuff that's going on here is actually going to lead to future development of other technologies. I mean, a lot of the cell phones that you have, all the technology in there is based off of these companies developing technology. And the moon's the next phase in humankind. We're going to build a base up there, and there's nothing really we can do to stop it, because that's what humans do. We explore, and we're in an exploration mode again.
Now, you talked about the design of this room, fostering that.
And I know a lot of people think we should spend time on our own planet, but the truth is, what we do out in space will save this planet. What's going on right now is there's a huge push. There's a shitload of money. There is a lot of different companies involved in the future of mining space. Instead of mining our planet, we will go out and destroy other things like asteroids and other moons that aren't really significant in our galaxy or pretty to look at like our planet. So the things that we develop out there will eventually save our planet, and we'll quit getting resources from our planet and get them elsewhere in the universe where they're a lot more abundant. A lot of the rare, stuff on planet Earth are really not that rare in looks of the universe. Like there's planets that literally rain diamonds. So diamonds are actually not that rare. Trees are rare, and yet we destroy trees every day when really they're the rarest thing that we know in the universe. We don't know any other planet where there's trees, but we do know there's other planets with a mass amount of diamonds. What's going on, Doris? How's everybody doing again? Hi, Janet. How you doing? Yeah, you're right. It's gonna, no matter what we do, the planet's gonna continue to change and evolve, and we're gonna have to change and evolve with it. We want to save ourselves. And today was a perfect example of I explained earlier, we were in the middle of a really big solar flare. And the last 24 hours, we had 2 massive solar flares, and this is happening because the sun is about to flip poles. So every 11 years, the sun flip poles due to it has a massive amount of energy, and it fluctuates and goes through cycles. So it is about to flip poles, and usually before it flip poles, it gets really violent. It is actually the most active it's been in 20 years. And that may be a good reason of what happened with the communication cell phones with AT&T. There's no word that's what happened yet, and we'll see as time prevails whether or not it was actually a solar flare that caused what happened today. Yeah, there's so many resources out there and other planets that we need to take advantage of. There's moons out there that aren't that pretty to look at. Now, our planet is very special. We all know that. We know that nothing else exists like that anywhere in the universe, as far as we know. So it's important that we take care of these trees and go out and mine asteroids and mine other planets for things that we can use instead of trees. Because trees, if we keep tearing down our trees and we keep mining our planet, eventually there's not going to be anything left. We're going to destroy it. And I know people watch documentaries and what happens to these old mines and how polluted they make the earth, especially lithium mines, which are the next big battery thing. And we need to find something to replace lithium. And we will with time. Again, let me bring up this actual cool video that actually shows. It is a pre-launch message from the company owner, and it actually is pretty cool to watch. Let me bring that up here. And we'll share that cool message that he shared here. I'll bring that and play this. Here we go.
Hello, mechanics. Today is a profoundly humbling moment for us at Intuitive Machines, as our Nova Seed lunar lander readies itself for its journey beyond our sun-split clouds and into the sunlit silence of space. I am filled with a sense of reverence and gratitude. The endeavor of landing on the moon is certainly a feat of engineering. It demands a hunger to explore the universe and discover its truths. And that is at the heart of everyone at Intuitive Machines. We set out to impact an entire generation in this demanding spirit, opening the minds of people from all walks of life, from high school students to community college to entry-level engineers, NASA civil servants, and subject matter experts. In big aerospace corporations, our mission is to ignite a passion for exploration that resonates far beyond our immediate reach. Let us not overlook the challenges that lie ahead. The unknown can be daunting. Venturing into uncharted territory always carries risk. Yet this willingness to embrace risk and push beyond our comfort zones propels us forward and drives innovation. Accepting risk was a challenge posed by the United States to the commercial business sector. It has galvanized the heart and soul of America. Our collective aim is to return to the moon for the first time in 52 years, marking a significant milestone in our nation's space exploration endeavors and securing the next generation of risk takers. As we prepare to embark on this extraordinary journey, let us do so with a sense of purpose and determination. Let us honor the legacy of those who came before us, who dared to dream of touching the face of God, both in failure and success. And let us remember that it is through daring greatly that we will achieve greatness. That is all.
And let me remind you, a lot of people just think these are $1 million companies shooting for the moon. And you have to remember these people that work for these companies have big dreams too. You know, they're just like back in the 60s when history was made, you know, history is still being made. We have, and these people that work for these companies are our future children, our future, you know, the future generation, you know, that will lead us forward. And these are well-paying jobs. These aren't, you know, these are really good jobs. These are jobs that we need to have in America to move on as, you know, as society. There's going to be a big space industry. There's going to be a lot of jobs available as we continue to progress, you know, into space. And these are all going to be well-paid industries. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of companies involved. And this company is called Innovative Machines. They're more of a new company, but they are making big strides in everything they do right now. So we'll see if they successfully land on the moon. Again, we are still 39 minutes out from it happening. But I'll continue playing this video, and then we're going to go back to the live feed.
Retro, go. Fido, go. Guide, go. Control.
This city of Houston,
go. Kinsey,
this state of Texas,
Surgeon, go.
this country of the United States was not built by those who waited and rested and wished to look behind them.
At Intuitive Machines, we are mechanics.
This generation does not intend to founder in the backwash of the coming age of space. We mean to be a part of it. We mean to lead it.
Committed to President Kennedy's long-dormant challenge.
We set sail on this new sea because there is new knowledge to be gained and new rights to be won. And they must be won and used for the progress of all people.
From how we build, test, and deliver our designs, we are redefining traditional aerospace.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
With 3 missions to the moon over the next 2 years, we have pushed innovation at every step, creating in-house technology to solve intractable problems. From software to avionics, advanced manufacturing, guidance, navigation and control, precision landing system, complete propulsion system, and more.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
Once assembled, this lander is directed from a state-of-the-art control room by a world-class team through an operational, worldwide lunar distance network. We look forward from our Houston home with hope.
This is our home, a place we're surrounded by family and friends, and people of true grit. Whether it's a flood, a pandemic, or a challenge of going to the moon, Space City doesn't back down from a challenge.
We've created a family of spacecraft and collection of technology that can write our shared future. Daring greatly,
We know it will be a good flight.
in the arena to conquer the unknown.
It's pretty cool. What they're doing is awesome. It's an awesome, you know, thing to look forward to in the future, that, you know, we're going to be a multi-planetary species, because otherwise it just seems to be pretty boring to think about destruction of our Earth and everything that's going on, and wars and famine and drought, and not have to think about the bright side of being able to leave this planet and eventually save it by leaving it. In my opinion, I truly believe that. And let me bring up this other screen. I think nope, that's not it. And we'll bring up the live feed now. And I'm trying to figure out how to, there we go. And we are back with 36 minutes, 34 seconds. So let me turn that volume back on.
In the lateral direction as well as the vertical direction. So when it comes to NDL,
and I'm not really sure how they're going to televise this. I don't know if it's going to be like a live feed video.
So we've tested it on
What's
the
going to happen is they're
number of
eventually going to
platforms
land
from
this thing here in the next 36 minutes.
to, landers out
apparently
here on the surface.
some kind of
to test
remote
this out.
control
But this is the
drones
first
are going to
time we've
land
tested
before it to
actually in a
video
space
feed
environment on a lunar
falling.
surface,
So
right?
I'm not really
And
sure how they're
we'll
going to
see
do this,
how that different environment will really affect the system,
or if
right?
there'll be any video at all. But eventually we'll have a
One thing that
touchdown
I'd
and
really like to know
smoke
is,
some weed to it and celebrate.
how the pulse comes back after they send the laser and how it reflects back to the
But
system.
I'm smoking on a little bit of cannabis myself. I got some mandarin cookies.
Help define
What's everybody else
system,
smoking on today?
figure out the trajectory to go down to landing on the surface.
Now,
It's been a very interesting day, I must say the least, because of all the stuff going on with solar flares and communication signals. I do truly believe that they have they do interfere with our mental health.
Demonstration as a test, right?
And there are a lot of studies that actually show that.
The actual mission coming down to the land.
And the sun is a very, very powerful object in our Earth. So anytime it does something like it has been with shooting solar flares at us, it can definitely influence us.
Can land safely on the surface, and that's important because as the lander comes close out, we don't want it to tip over. And so we need to get an understanding of the vertical velocity so it knows how much thrust to.
I wonder if the other.
The lateral velocity, because if it comes down,
this is not their feed, so I need to go back and find the actual feed. I was on the wrong one. Apologize there. And I have too many different. There we go. Too many different videos. And I'm trying to look for the live video of initiative. And where did it go? There we go.
Lunar regolith and thing. And so we have 4 stereo cameras that are going to.
Except they're probably going to nerd out here and talk. So it might get pretty boring until they actually do it. But we're about 35 minutes away from this thing landing. We got 17,000 people watching this one feed in here.
Well, thank you so much, Prasan. It's really been great speaking with you. Really exciting stuff. And for now, we're going to send it back to Gary and Josh.
Hey, thanks, Leah. Nova C is a little.
And I've never this is the first time this company's probably done a live feed for something like this. So they seemed a little awkward. Yeah, if you ever watch SpaceX's feed, they actually have a comment. They actually have people whose job it is to podcast out the live feed. So I don't know if that's what these guys' jobs are, or if they're actually engineers, or
and some not. Of course, the United States has landed on the moon many times.
I had a very hard morning. Oh, I thought you were going to say you had a hard landing. Sorry to hear that, Doris.
Company enabled under NASA's CLIPS initiative.
Hopefully your day got better as
Let's discuss the challenges
as the day went on.
The moon through CLIPS. Take a look.
Landing on the moon is hard. We're going back. Under this Artemis program, we're going to be sending humans to the moon for the first time since Apollo. So ahead of humans, we want to get up as much science exploration and technology experiments as possible.
So CLIPS starts facilitating a lot of the early science.
We might see this in our life. If you are in your 40s,
CLIPS stands
you
for
will probably see moon bases
payload service
in your lifetime. Maybe even your 50s.
Part is the key element. Ordinarily, when NASA delivers a payload to the surface of the moon, they do it with a commercial partner, but NASA controls the building of the vehicle. Now, we're buying the service of delivery of our lunar payloads to the surface of the moon.
It is a delivery service, akin to a delivery service that you'd have here on Earth.
NASA will provide payloads to a commercial company. They decide how to get it to the moon. They have to develop their own lander, but they also have to manage the entire end-to-end mission.
It's meant to provide affordable, rapid, frequent access to the lunar surface through American companies.
We're funding different companies.
We have commercial companies that are competing to win task orders.
And I keep hearing people say that going to the moon or leaving the Earth is only going to be for the rich people. But these are literally technologies they are developing to make it cheaper. It's the same way airplanes were developed. It wasn't like when airplanes were made, we're like, oh, this is only going to be for elite people. We developed technologies to bring that cost down to where it is now, where almost anybody, I know it's gotten a lot more expensive nowadays, but anybody can get on a plane and travel anywhere in the world. That's basically what we're trying to do here. And I keep hearing that, people saying it's only going to be for the wealthy and rich, but that's not the case. They're going to need custodians. They're going to need people to do laundry. Everything that's done on Earth is going to be done up there. And there's going to have to have people that are going to do that. and that's going to be ordinary people, not wealthy, rich people. So that's so not true when people say that, you know, we're developing technologies to bring the cost down to where anybody can go to space eventually, you know, in the future.
Deliver our payloads to the surface of the moon.
One of the goals when we started CLIPS was to help establish a lunar economy.
Somebody has to do it first, and then it becomes commercially available. Then they're able to crank them up. Then they're able to make it more affordable. And so the lunar surface is just the next frontier for a commercial environment.
But we had to acknowledge up front, all the way through the highest levels of the agency leadership, that some of them will fail. These missions may not be as successful as a traditional NASA mission.
We have accepted the risk that going through this innovative approach with these commercial companies, that there could be some failures. Some of them are new companies. None of them have ever successfully landed on the surface of the moon. So they're going to learn lessons.
We need to give our vendors the opportunity to learn.
And so that'll help ultimately buy down our risk as these companies learn, okay, what does it take to actually build up the lunar lander, integrate payloads, get to the lunar surface and land safely?
They've been able to demonstrate that they have very, very good technical depth and the ability to design and execute missions. We're willing to take more shots on goal. We aren't risking human lives. And in the big picture, if we're flying missions at 1/10 of the cost of a NASA mission, and we fail 2 of them, we still get 8 missions for that same price.
Even with 1 or 2 or 3 failures, this is still a very economical proposition.
Hey, Chris, Dan, how you doing?
Risk posture, which is more.
Nothing in life is ever easy.
Sure. There's not a single one of these companies that's willing to bet their mission on a coin toss. Every one of them is doing what they can.
I understand,
to have the most successful mission possible. But the important thing to realize is that risk tolerant does not mean risky. And the rewards are a long-term ability to get payloads to the moon inexpensively, frequently, and rapidly.
We want science, so we can then put more of our resources on even more science, exploration, and technology payloads, and get more return on investment when we get to the moon.
CLIPS provides tremendous benefit across the scientific and economic communities.
So there's a lot we'd like to learn about the moon to help.
We're just geeking out here, learning about what's going on here in 30 minutes.
So the moon is
we
the first
attempt
step.
this landing.
The teams here in Nova Control have been working diligently over the
28
past
minutes
7
and
days
55
to take
seconds.
us this far and are laser focused on the operations ahead. We're following the clock
Well,
down
there's the
to
countdown
the
right
start
there.
of those
Top.
autonomous operations of Nova C, starting with the powered descent initiation. For now, we're heading back over to Leah Cheshire, who's standing by with NASA's Associate Administrator. Leah.
Hey, Becca, how you
Thank
doing?
you, Gary. I'm joined now by Jim Free, NASA's Associate Administrator. Thank you for joining us, Jim.
Thanks for having me.
This is a big day, and what are some of the challenges to landing on the moon that people might not expect?
Well, it is a big day, by the way. You're right. I think the challenges are multifaceted. First, getting into lunar orbit is a
Just remember that
challenge.
if
Going
you're,
to the South
you know,
Pole
unless you're
is different
52
than
or
going
older,
to
this
other
is the
parts
first
of the
time
lunar
we've been on the
surface.
moon.
The
And that
lighting
pole, so
conditions
this
are
is
a lot
big
different
day.
than at the equator. So you have your hazard detection has to be a little more reliable. You have to be able to do that last minute avoiding of the hazards that are on the surface and finding that right place to set down. So you're also level or within a tolerance that you can be for level on the surface.
We've talked a little
Also,
bit
don't
about
forget
how
to hit that giveaway, Lions Mane. We're giving away a
So
bottle
how
of
does
that while we're
NASA
live
help
here.
ensure
And don't forget to hit
success,
that love
while we
share
also
reaction
allow these
button as
companies
well.
to
Let's all
figure out
geek out
their
together and
solutions?
smoke some
We're able
cans.
to offer our technical expertise. So companies can ask
Cheers.
for technical experts from NASA that might be an expert on lunar surface conditions or orbits around the moon, or even just in assembly of the spacecraft, the vehicles. But they can also ask for help during the mission. We
Hey,
provide
Helene, how you
for
doing?
our deep space network to get the communications, to bring the data back to the control center here to help them maybe understand their orbit better or get more communication with the spacecraft as well. So both in advance of the mission and during the mission also.
And CLIPS is just one way that NASA is using, we're working to strengthen the American space economy. So what are some other ways, and why is NASA pursuing this commercial route for complicated space missions?
So we started back
You know what,
in space station.
Another very interesting fact about this is this satellite, that moon lander, actually has artwork on it. It actually is the first. It will be the first artwork that from Earth that has landed on the moon. Don't ask me why they put it on there, but it is the fact that there is artwork on this lander. So more history is going to be made as the first artist's work lands on another planet.
A little bit about Artemis for a second. So how does CLIPS fold into NASA's plans with Artemis and with this Moon to Mars architecture?
I think I could talk about Artemis for hours, but CLIPS is absolutely essential for Artemis. It's our first steps of understanding the lunar environment. So the Intuitive Machines lander is going to help us understand how the lunar dust moves as the rocket plume.
Also, explain, Tim, as well, a lot of times this technology that was developed in the 60s, especially 1961, Nixon said we were going to the moon. 1962, we actually developed technology that we developed so fast that it was very dangerous. The technology we're trying to develop now is much safer than what we had in the 60s. And that's why it's so different now. That's why we're struggling still to do it, because it's not easy to do. What happened in the 60s was nearly a miracle that we pulled it off. The fact that the United States went to the moon was nearly a miracle. And I know people believe that we didn't go to the moon, but there's plenty of evidence to show otherwise. You can actually put a telescope on the moon and still see the mirror they left there. So any doubters out there, you can explain to me how the mirror got on there. So, but we're very different now. We're 50 years later. We have a different technology we're developing, and we have a commercial space industry now. We did not have a commercial space industry, and the commercial space industry adds a lot of innovative features to it that NASA didn't. NASA sucks. NASA really, really sucks at developing stuff, and we've known that in the past when we've lost astronauts. And astronauts have died with NASA, but none have ever died with any other, private companies. So I think the fact that everything has been privatized is leading to future innovations that NASA could have never done. Anything that is covered or ran by the government is poorly ran, and that's a fact. You can see the post office, NASA, and then whatever other government agency out there is ran. It's usually ran very poorly. I'll have to give it to NASA for everything they do, all the ingenuity, all the science, all the tech they do when they're still attached to a government agency, that funds them. I do have to applaud them for that. So it's fascinating how everything's changing. And I know people think like, oh, we can just land on the moon like that because we did it 52 years ago. But no, 52 years ago, we had a 6% chance of making there and back. And we did it because of men like this who are in these companies, not men. I should say women and men, because women are actually leading innovation. A lot of these companies have more women than men, and women are just as smart as men. But back in the 60s, the whole NASA facility was actually full of men. There's another big difference between now and then is the amount of women now involved. And so everything's good. Everything's evolving in a way that is for the future of this planet is good. And what happens today, will affect what happens the next launch and the next launch and everything down the road as we develop this technology to land on the moon and act like it's a normal occurrence. Turn that volume back on.
Data is getting imagery.
Eventually going on the moon is just going to be like getting in an airplane. You're going to go to an airport,
including
you're going to get in a plane, and you're going to go to the moon.
As a challenge from our CEO, Steve Altemus, to his alma mater, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Students and faculty created EagleCam to take an out-of-this-world selfie of Odysseus landing on the moon. The camera system could capture the world's first ever third-person picture of a spacecraft making an extraterrestrial landing. The camera system is designed to deploy off of Nova C approximately 30 meters above the lunar surface and
so they
take
do have
images
cameras
of Odysseus during landing.
Holy shit.
Additionally, the device will test a dust removal system, which could lead to the future advances in spacesuit technology. As part of this project for EagleCam, Embry-Riddle teamed up with NASA's Kennedy Space Center to demonstrate the NASA-developed electrodynamic dust shield, or EDS. EDS uses an electric field to remove dust. The technology was tested
That's
aboard
exciting.
the International Space
We're
Station
developing
and
video
will be
technology
the
in
first ever
space now, too.
demonstration of EDS
This is going to
technology
demonstrate that
on
today.
the lunar surface after landing. Intuitive Machines also had several cameras on the lander, including wide and narrow field of view cameras. They started the mission with incredible
There's
imagery
been
as
no
the
information on the
SpaceX
camera
second
system
stage
yet. I have
deployed
not
our
found
Nova
any, so
C
this is
lunar
all
lander,
new.
capturing iconic images of the Earth after separation. It requires a lot of
I
planning,
knew that they
work,
had a
and
state-of-the-art
just a
video
hint of
camera
luck.
system, but I was
Payload
not
integration
told the
managers
details.
programmed the lander's wide and narrow field view cameras to take 5 quick images every 5 minutes for 2 hours, starting 100 seconds after separating from SpaceX's second stage. Out of all of those
Guys,
images
we're
obtained,
21 minutes
we
from
ended
this
up with just
happening. Hit some
4
tags, bring some people
inspiring
in. Let's
ones
get
to
some
show
excitement.
humanity's
You
place
know,
in the
we're going to
universe.
the moon.
Right now, we're a little more than 10 minutes from powered descent initiation. Let's go to Leah Cheshire one last
This
time
is either
for a
going to be,
final interview
this is either going
ahead
to be
of
a
this
complete
critical
failure or a
maneuver.
complete
Leah?
success. Those are the only two
Thanks,
options I think
Josh. I'm
happen.
here now
I
with
don't think
Nikki
there's anything in
Fox,
between
NASA's
today.
Associate Administrator for the Science
So
Mission Director. Thanks
this
so much
thing
for joining us.
landing
Thanks
is
for having me.
huge.
It's a great day.
It
Huge
is
for
a great day,
science.
and you're watching this with leaders from NASA and Intuitive Machines, just very close to hear what's
Which
happening.
I wish
in
there were
the
more
moon right
excited
now,
people
just
like
before
the guy
final
was, because
descent maneuvers.
I'm nerding out over here. I'm really
There's
excited.
just excitement, anticipation. Everybody knows landing
I
on the
completely
moon,
know
going
what
to the
this
moon
moment
is
means
hard.
to
And
humankind.
we're already celebrating because this mission is already a success. This is we've launched. We had a beautiful launch.
We need that nerd rope.
Great science data all the way, every single challenge.
Doris,
the
a
team
nerd rope
has
probably be
really
really good
risen
right
up and
now.
solved it.
Really make you
And
feel
now
better.
we're in lunar orbit. Minutes
Just
away
remember,
from
better days
starting
are ahead.
our descent
No,
down to the
it's
lunar
we're only
surface.
in a
So
bad
for
moment
me,
for
so many
moment.
successes with this mission already. So just a lot of excitement.
I'm loving that.
And that sunshine
So we are
outside is
working with
beautiful.
these
I know
American
I live in
companies in a
Illinois
very
and the sun
unique
is
way.
shining. So
These are
go out there and
challenging
enjoy some
goals.
sun
Some
too,
people would
everybody.
probably consider this a bold endeavor, but what does it mean to you when you look at pursuing challenges in a bold new way?
I mean, you're right. It is bold. It is a new way of doing
I'm really
science.
interested to
It
see
is
how
a
this
partnership with
video camera system
totally
works.
new
This is going to
companies who
blow our
haven't
mind.
done these things before, and we are
The company
partnering
actually
with them.
really spent the
And
time to
they are
develop a
taking
camera that
our
actually
science.
works.
It's a way.
How many times do you guys see a camera at a like convenience store robbery, and it's like the worst footage ever? And then we go to Mars and we like get this crystal clear video, and that's because the camera on the rover costs $2 million. Gas station camera is $50. That's a big difference. And somebody here at my house? No, that's a big difference between the cameras and why we get so much better quality in these items far away from Earth. Because there's a lot more money involved. If you want a good camera at a convenience store, spend a couple $1,000s, and I guarantee you're going to be able to zoom in on the zit of a crook or a robber really good. If you spend the money.
This one is going down to the South Pole. We think we're going to find great volatiles down there. So as we get prepared to send our astronauts there, then we know that there's water there, and we can use that water. Water's very heavy.
Hey, Christy,
to carry,
how you
so
doing?
it's really great if you can
I
use it
just
on the
love
moon.
the nerd ropes.
We can break it up into hydrogen and oxygen, use it for fuel.
Be careful, Rasta.
Really great for our sustainability, but also where they're going is one of the oldest regions of the moon, about 3.85 billion years old. So we can actually learn about what our solar system was like before life started. Life is very noisy. We're very, very noisy here on Earth. The moon is just like pristine. And so we can really do some amazing science.
I look forward to learning more about it. So any final words before we wrap it up?
Just thank you. I mean, literally, thank you.
One of the biggest mysteries that we have, that what we want to explore the moon, is the history of Earth. Now we have found dust from the moon on our planet before, which was done by massive asteroid strikes. So massive asteroids would hit the moon, and dust would fly into space and land on Earth. Now we don't know really the true picture of what has hit our planet Earth, but there should be Earth debris on the moon if asteroids have hit Earth and sent debris to the moon. We don't know that yet because we haven't explored the moon. So a lot of the history of our planet Earth can be solved, with the moon, with this, figuring out what kind of soil composition it is, whether or not we've had massive asteroids in the past hit planet Earth and actually, have more scientific evidence to back that up.
Attitude, which means the lander is starting to make the positional requirements.
So there's so much involved and so much discovery waiting to happen, just getting to the moon and innovation as well.
5 minutes until TIG.
Altitude of 10 kilometers, downrange 1,100 kilometers.
TIG being time of ignition, so we're inside of 5 minutes.
TIG minus 5 minute dead pins.
TIG minus 5 minutes. We are standing by for powered descent initiation. Gary, this is
So
a
there are different stages before it lands.
burn to slow the
This
lateral
is
velocity such that
they're
Nova
actually
C
going to
can
do a
pitch
thrust
over
burn
for further
to
operations.
slow the
While we were
lander
in that
down
interview, we did hear that the main
in
engine
preparation
gimbal
for a land.
checkout was completed. So now we're focused on the operations with Nova Control. For folks at home, we are listening
kind of
into the
mushrooms.
live channel there.
That's right. A lot's happening in Nova Control. We're going to be hearing these status calls periodically as we follow the flight control teams that are monitoring Nova C's
Honestly, in my
descent
opinion,
through
that
the
they'll probably
surface.
develop a
Lots happening,
system
John.
that mushrooms actually grow off of human waste. That would probably be the best thing to do in space, because then you would solve the problem of what to do with human waste. Turn it into a food nutrient for mushrooms, because mushrooms actually eat poop. So I know that NASA is trying to develop technologies to grow mushrooms in space, because mushrooms actually use the least amount of water than plants. So and able to grow food in space, you need less water is good. So mushrooms are a really good choice when growing on other planets.
Put on Nova C, it's not operating. We made
What's going on, Rose? How you
flight
doing?
controllers to utilize 2 of the laser
Space
beams from
cakes.
NASA's NDL payload, make the software patches required to reassign those lasers into the TRN and HRN cameras.
And for some reason, they have hemp seeds on the International Space Station. I don't know what experiments are going on with hemp,
about 2 hours.
but for some reason they are doing some hemp experiments on NASA.
That's why the show was a little bit later.
And also,
appears to be paying out the last.
A lot of people don't know that you can now. There's probably 100 different companies and universities that have experiments on the International Space Station. There are other companies that pay for space in order to do experiments, and you basically you apply to put something on the International Space Station, then they shoot it up in the rocket, and then they send you the results. But that's also how NASA gets funding as well, is they actually kind of rent space out for other experiments. And that's exactly what's going on with this lander today. There are other companies
right now,
with experiments on this lander. I believe there are 6 companies involved in one,
type of screen,
NASA. NASA opted into as
You
well.
have Spark looking at electronics, things like how hot are the electronics. Payloads are monitoring different parts and pieces. In
5
this
degrees to burn attitude.
5 degrees left until
Yeah, the
burn
fungus
attitude.
looking
The
for human
vehicles are
bodies.
getting ready for the PDI ignition, which we expect.
Well,
here
Mike,
in
like I said
just
before,
about
if
2
you think
minutes,
about
Gary, 2
airplanes, when
minutes.
airplanes first came out, it was
Everyone's
for the
looking at
elite
their
too.
screens and
But
doing
they
their
kept
respective
coming up
job
with
jobs
innovative
and
ways to
reporting
cut
up
down
to
the
the mission
costs.
director,
And that's really what all
activity
these industries are
directors,
trying
keeping
to
in touch
do.
with
And the
everybody
cost to
and
go to
making sure
space
we're
has
putting this whole
significantly
thing
gotten
together.
down over the last decade. It has nearly
Call
gone
for
from
tank press
millions
started
now
just a
to
little bit before that, Gary. We
hundreds
did
of
hear that
thousands,
they were working
which I
on the
know that there's still a lot of
cryo
money,
film.
but
These are all steps that
going
are
from
leading
hundreds of
towards
millions to
PDI,
hundreds of
powered
thousands is a
descent
significant
initiation.
step. And
We
eventually,
expect
I
that to take about
truly believe
11
that
minutes
it
where
will
we're
go down
slowing
below
Nova C's
$10,000.
velocity approximately
All these
1,800
technologies,
meters per
we have
second,
to
and that's
innovate to bring
required
down that
to get
cost.
this
But I think
lunar
someday
landing
we'll be there.
opportunity
And we did it with
in just a
airplanes.
few minutes.
And I think we'll really do it with anything else. And you have to remember that these facilities on the moon are going to have people to do the same things that happen on on Earth. There's going to have to be people to cook food. There's going to have to be people to do laundry. There's going to have to be people to clean. There's going to have to be people to teach. All those same things that happen on Earth are going to have to be done on the moon. And obviously the elites aren't going to take care of all that. So come in at just your normal, average, everyday human, to go up to the moon and work and live there.
Is Nova C's propulsion system, that mixture of.
But I imagine you'll make a lot more than your normal
feed line is
custodian on
getting ready
Earth.
to go into
I
an
assume that
injector to
you'll be
blend
double
those
to
two
triple the
propellants from one
income.
propellant to the oxidizer and have ignition of PDI. We're tracking that in just under a minute, Gary.
Converging on burn attitude.
Lander is getting into the correct attitude required.
Line prep complete both sides.
Another call for feed line prep complete for liquid methane and liquid
Table in the
oxygen
middle of this room
preparation
is
for
cool. I want that
PDI
table. It's like a table of planet Earth.
seconds exactly.
Right? It's going to be like an oil rig operator or somebody who goes, to the military. They'll be gone for a very long time. And maybe you'll go work for 2 years on the moon and then come back to Earth. And, it'll be interesting how it all plays out, how society and civilization moves on.
There we heard
these
main
advancements.
stage ignition. That's coming from our prop console, Rob.
There's always pros and cons to every advancement of humankind. And you have to remember that. There are good things that come out of AI. There's bad things. There's good things that come out of moon landers, and there's bad things. You know, we have to.
Call outs in between our
there's bad things with everything that we develop.
Scott Tamblin,
just like the development of the car was one of the most innovative things we ever created, but it also created a weapon. You know, a car is definitely a weapon, and now we actually have weapons on cars that are in war. You know,
is that loss of communications, and that's why we have this.
I think good thrust control.
The good thrust control call from Prop. But that's why we have this autonomous lunar lander. You know, we program, we know that, hey, we want to light PDI in this moment. These are the steps you need to get there. But from here in, this is an autonomous lunar lander, and flight controllers are monitoring communications and tracking the progress right along with the public right now with us.
Nova C has the helm. It is in control and is making the decisions necessary to ensure a soft landing. We heard call outs about thrust, full thrust right now. There is the ability to throttle that thrust, and we'll see that throughout the descent as the fuel tanks continue.
I think we're better over here. We're going to move over to the other channel real quick. I think, yeah, we have the same feed, but now it has the countdown. This is the simulation that you're seeing. So this thing is basically floating over the Earth, or sorry, over the moon. I believe at 90 meters. Well, we'll see what happens, Mike. Sometimes leaving the planet can unite the civilization. I know that we can't really be divided right now this year than we're going to be, since it is an election year, 2024, and election years are one of the most. They usually divide America the most. So I don't know if we can get any more divided than we are. So, well, unless we have a civil war, that's about the only thing worse, right, Christy? For sure. Hey, what's going on, Steve? How you doing? Certainly is. What's going on, Tanya? You think this thing's got that GPS? No. They're probably using Google Earth GPS. Yeah, we're getting there. We still have to develop those techs to really search the deep oceans, and we're getting better at it. The last 10 years, they've definitely developed some good tech to search the oceans. Well, one of the things that whatever you believe in or make or anything, they definitely made us explorers. Humans are constant explorers, and we will never ever stop being that. Our minds are always intrigued on what's on the other side, and that's one of the things that make us special. So I don't know if we'll ever get past that, or our minds are too intrigued. Everything always interests us. So we have to remember we are animals and mammals at heart that are explorers and survivors. And Google Moon. Well, there are technologies being developed. Remember, every problem the human has, innovation comes. And I think I invite a lot of you to watch documentaries of the technologies, very cheap technologies that are being innovated to clean the oceans right now. There's a company, I can't remember right now, but they literally, it's so cheap to build this thing they're developing that is literally picking up hundreds of tons of debris in oceans. So I honestly think we're going to develop really innovative, cheap solutions to clean up the earth in the next 10 years, and I can already see it happening. I invite a lot of people to actually download an app called the Science News app, and you can keep up on a lot of these stories because there's so much innovation and sciencing happening. I know it's hard to keep up, but a lot of the things you don't think that are happening on Earth are happening, including cleaning it up. So just because you hear the news saying that the Earth is getting dirtier doesn't mean there are companies out there who are trying to come up with solutions to fix the problems. And if we're privatizing everything. These are just because we have issues on Earth doesn't mean the solutions aren't going to create jobs down the, somebody's going to have to clean up the oceans, and there's going to be jobs and positions available as these new technologies come out. So as we move on as humans, let's say, I always hear the complaint about, your cashiers disappearing from Walmarts, but those are actually being replaced by people to build the machines that are actually in Walmarts, and those are high-paying machines. So we're taking like 3 low-paid Walmart workers and replacing them with one person who's well-paid and building robots. So people always forget that innovation brings about new jobs, but it also does eliminate other jobs. But that's what happens with innovation. If you lived with it in the last 100 years, every innovation we've made has eliminated jobs, but it also creates jobs. And that's just, the way we are as humans. Oh yeah. I mean, if we didn't have profit pushes innovation. That's money pushes innovation. If we didn't have money as a motivating factor, we would still be living in caves and living that life. But just because money doesn't mean it's evil, because money does push innovation. It pushes people to reach out there to get that money, and sometimes it makes us reach for the stars. But they didn't spend any money. This was actually funded by NASA. $118 million was funded to initiative machines. Sorry, but it's actually cheaper in order to subcontract this work than to spend it by NASA. NASA would have spent $2 billion to do this with a company that only spent 100, for instance. I don't know what the ratio is, Mike. I was just saying. I was just using that as an example, the cashiers, but eventually cashiers won't even exist, but there'll be hundreds of people making those machines, the robots, and there'll be more well-paid positions in America. But that's another, are 100 well-paid jobs equal to 1,000 minimum wage jobs? I don't know. That's that's an opinion everybody has. Is 100 well-paid jobs equal to 1,000 minimum wage jobs? Because we do know that people in high income do spend a lot more money in our economy. Good, well-paying jobs always return in the economy. But it's all interesting how it will all play out in Earth. The rest of our lives we live, we won't have really any control what happens. It's just going to happen in front of us. 3 minutes of touchdown. Let's get a bowl loaded and enjoy it. Now, I don't think they have any video feed either, because I can see all their screens, and not one of them has any video feed of the lander. So I assume that, because this thing does have a lot of video and pictures it's going to take. Yeah, for sure, Mike. Right now, we don't have that problem, Mike, because we can't find enough employees to a lot of the industries right now where everybody needs employees. But eventually, that will change. Load your craters. Again, this is that simulation they have. I wonder if anybody out there is trying to track this thing with a telescope, but I know this is on the dark side of the moon, and I think it's only visible from the very southern hemisphere of Earth. I don't know how they're going to know if it crashes. I guess the feed will go dead. So the machine was going forward. Now it's pitching to the ground. So it's going to start pitching and facing the ground as it lowers itself down. And there's no gravity on the moon, so it's going to have to shoot some kind of booster system to stop itself and land. If it hits the moon too fast, it will bounce off the moon. What's up, Joe Kelly? It only slows towards a black hole. You're talking a microsecond across the moon and the Earth. Here we go. Somebody's either going to lose a lot of money or win a lot of money today. And I actually invested in this company too. I bought some stock last night, folks. So if it crashes, I'm probably going to lose money. And if they succeed, the stock's probably going to go up. So let's go. Always check news before you invest in stocks too, because usually when a company does something very innovative, their stock does skyrocket. So if you do pay attention and you buy stock ahead of time, you can, hit gold in a stock. Well, not that kind of bet. I just bet on the company. I actually bought three of their stocks last night just for fun. They're $9 a piece, and they've already gone up 75% in the last month. So hopefully, maybe I'll make 30 real quick bucks, and then we'll keep going up. You pulled all your stock out of the company, Mike? Yeah, if it crashes and collapses, you can buy it cheap. I like having a little fun with some stocks. Makes it a little more exciting. It's not my whole life savings or anything that I'm going to suffer if it doesn't work. We'll find out in the morning whether it goes up, but we'll find out in a minute whether this thing lands. Nope, that's the wrong way of it. Got the wrong background. Nope, the antenna broke. You could probably hear a pin drop in that room. There always is when Everybody's like, well, we're going to have jobs tomorrow. No, why'd they mute him? I'm live on 2 channels and I don't see anything confirming that it landed. Oh, we're over here now in the comments. That's what I wanted to look at. It's a comm outage due to clouds. So I'm reading in the comments. We got a comm outage due to clouds.
Team here in the broadcast booth decided to let's stay on this. All the
more than
chatter
likely
we are
shot
not hearing
dirt
on this
all up in
public
the air.
channel, Gary. All things indicate that we are working to solve a possible communications challenge.
Is the sound on here? I don't know. Oh, don't have it on now.
For those following along,
MD Prime on IM1.
Sorry if I didn't have the sound on.
Yeah, I guess you polled the room looking for states, and we're going to go ahead and cycle the ground transmitter on Goonhilly and do some RF sweeps. Is that your plan?
That's correct.
Roger, copy.
And that's just what we had in mind in our notes, Gary, is that if we encounter a communications challenge, we mentioned how difficult it is to land on the moon and continually have those communications. What you just heard there is folks talking about using the Goonhilly Earth Station Limited dish in the UK to do a sweep looking for that signal. We mentioned that autonomous process of the lander reassigning itself somewhere that it believes is safe. Going into it, we heard
Japan
that
landed
the
a couple
HRN
months ago, but NASA helped them
and
do
able
that.
to make those decisions after what was a 2-hour orbit of problem solving with Intuitive Machines' TRN and HRN cameras, the laser rangefinders assigned to those. Those are the ones that Intuitive Machines installed inside the navigation pods.
It might have been India.
The laser rangefinders were not activated. We went to NASA and asked to use 2 of the laser beams on the navigation Doppler LiDAR.
That's right.
And spent 2 hours in orbit.
Team, we're going to confirm our pointing vector with our antenna for post-landing.
Yep. We spent about 2 hours in orbit to solve that problem. We got good readings on the way down. And right now, we are working to confirm communications on the surface of the moon, roughly around the Malapert A region. That is
Nothing
the
confirmed
south
yet.
region of the moon.
I'm across multiple
That's right.
channels.
What we do know is the power descent initiation. We were following along in the status calls. We executed a pitch-over maneuver, and we're counting down the clock to a landing time of 5:23 p.m. Central Time. Well, Josh described those processes of working on the communications component to confirm data from the lander, pulsing the teams surrounding the status of Nova C and the data that they were receiving here in Nova Control to confirm landing. And part of that, Josh, as you described, is communications. We're standing by.
Fido MD on IM1.
QMD.
I'm looking at our phase plan.
There's a couple news organizations carrying this live now on TV.
Like we had
CNBC is.
Pitch and
Fox is. There's a couple other
but I did see a
stations.
little bit of a roll excursion. Could it be that we landed off angle and roll in the final phase?
So I do see we had up to an 8-degree excursion. We're about to begin the roll maneuver, which is about
terminal phase.
The terminal phase, which is a large roll maneuver to get to landing attitude. That's the last data point I have.
There's a possibility it's not
up until that point.
It landed in a crater.
Really solid.
Right. So terminal phase begins at 30 meters.
That's the one thing we don't want it to happen is land in a crater and then fall over.
Post HDA.
400 meters.
Very good.
And that's a great conversation confirming.
That's good ground network. Good for box scan. Make that go.
Yeah, that was good confirmation of the process that we were very familiar with, talking about the attitude of the lander, making sure that those antennas are within direct line of sight with Earth stations, ground stations on Earth, excuse me.
mission director at all stations are also updating our pointing vector with our dishes to make sure that they're tuned in on our final landing site.
There's a call. We're searching for that communications back to the ground station. This one particularly is in the UK that's tracking us. And it's important to note, Gary, that we have an entire network dedicated to working these communications problems. It's been active this entire mission. And the largest, most powerful dish out of all of them is about a 64-meter
Well, it's
dish
not good
in
that they
Australia.
haven't.
That time to search with that opportunity with the largest, most powerful
It's not
dish,
good that they
we're
haven't
looking at about
established
12 to
communication over the
13
years.
hours after our estimated touchdown. So this is a process that we could be looking and searching for the lander's signal for confirmation for quite some time, but we're going to continue to listen in and stand by as our flight controllers are working with the ground station in the United Kingdom to work this issue, work this problem. It's another challenge, very similarly to the challenge solved just to make it this far.
And by the way, it was India. India landed on the
We have a
moon.
return signal we're tracking.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we didn't add more trash to the moon. There's a possibility that we did. Well, there was going to be trash anyway, but eventually we'll go there and clean it up. I'm reading the chats in another link, and I don't see. We got 30.
We have an onboard fault detection system for our communications.
36,000 people in this live
15 minutes
chat.
with a lack of communication, we'll power cycle the radios, and then after that, for another 15 minutes, it will then switch antenna pairs. So we have some time here to evaluate. We do have signal that we're tracking, so
got a
we'll
signal.
see what happens.
There's a great call out about the autonomous systems installed on our Nova C-class lunar lander named Odysseus. The process he's mentioning, Gary, is very
Signal
similar
now
to the one that
reboot.
we were
I think
preparing
that's what they're
ourselves
doing.
for at AOS, to where the lander has
Control, Alt,
systems in
Delete.
place to recycle its antennas, to switch antenna pairs, and it was very similar
Somebody's
to
like,
what
hit
we
that
thought we were
Alt,
going to need
Control,
to do
Alt,
after
Delete,
acquisition
F1.
of signal. When we separated from the second stage of the launch vehicle, if we made it to a certain point, the lander was autonomously programmed to start taking matters into its own hands. And that was the information that our mission director, Dr.
We're not dead yet.
We're also not dead yet.
We're not dead yet. Folks, we're not dead yet. Hey, don't forget to hit that Lions Mane giveaway. Hashtag Lions Mane, people. Tonight, we give away a bottle of that. Thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget that
And the key
like
here, Josh,
reaction
is
button.
patience. It's 5:34 p.m. Mission Director Tim Crane confirming that it could take 2 phases of 15-minute increments to confirm the status of the landing. So we could be here.
Mission
and
Control,
we'll stand by
replugging
and
back
monitor
in.
as Nova Controls continues.
What's going on,
to work
Jane?
this
How you
issue.
doing?
Yeah, tense moments inside of mission
Yeah,
control
Marvin, the Martian.
with the most qualified folks.
We're picking up a signal from our high gain antenna and transmitter. It's faint, but it's there.
We have a faint signal, so it's not destroyed.
We'll see what's happening here.
All right, we're going to continue to stand by. Let's keep this
If they
camera
wouldn't have a
on
signal if it
inside
was
of Nova
destroyed.
Control. It sounds like we are getting some kind of faint
I
signal.
want to send a series of commands to reactivate, make sure we're transmitting to keep the Quasonics active.
Sometimes it may have had a hard landing and it may reset on itself, but it did survive. That may be something that happened. Find out. Hope we're still alive. NASA's like, send it to our U.S. government.
We're still standing by. The last call from Mission Director Dr. Tim Crane was that we were getting a faint signal from Odysseus's high gain antenna.
Yeah, it landed on a portion of the moon in the South Pole, which is not very visible to Earth. I believe it's only visible to portions of our planet. So they have to communicate with a portion of the planet and then relay that across the planet. But it is dark. It's on the dark side of the moon, the southern part. And they landed it there because they believe that there's crystallized water, ice water there. and they want to do a little more exploring.
All stations, this is Mission Director on IM-1. We're evaluating how we can refine that signal and dial in the pointing for our dishes. What we can confirm, without a doubt, is our equipment is on the surface of the moon, and we are transmitting. So,
hell yeah!
Congratulations, IM team. We'll see how much more we can get from that.
Let's start. Doing that. Congratulations, innovators! We made it in one piece. How much of one piece?
And here
Yet to be determined.
here in the mission control. What an outstanding effort! I know this was a nail biter.
Last they just
but we are
landed.
on the
There is
surface, and we are
there is
transmitting.
a signal, but
and
what kind of
welcome
signal
to the
or
moon.
the status of the vehicle is still undetermined.
Houston,
Landing confirmed.
Odysseus
Communications
has found his
weak.
new home.
An excellent call, and this is our team of
Look at that
intuitive
kid in there wearing
machines
the astronaut
mechanics
helmet in the
and their
background.
families, their friends,
These are all the family's
everyone who
friends,
has sacrificed
all the people
so
who work
much
for the
to
company.
make it this far.
Stations.
How about that call, Gary? That was something else, a faint signal. Now it's time to work on refining that signal. But Dr. Tim Crane, our mission director
He's
today,
my guest.
making the call. Odysseus has a new home.
It shows the disciplines of the flight controllers
This is actually
in Nova Control.
SpaceX is
They
the
waited until there was
company that provided the
absolute
vehicle to get
confirmation
into
that there
space.
was a signal,
SpaceX
and then
has
that was
no
when they took
technology
the
on
moment
this
to
vehicle.
celebrate. We saw that it
But
wasn't
NASA
just the
is funding,
individuals
self-funding
in Nova
this.
Control that contributed to the mission. The
This company is
contributions
trying to help
to
NASA
enable
develop
the
a
success
moon
of
lander.
Nova C's landing on the moon
So
stretches far and wide.
that's why
We
it's
showed,
a
of course, some of the
subcontractor.
folks watching there, but really it extends even farther than this. A wonderful and truly amazing moment to celebrate. The U.S. has landed on the moon once again.
And to everyone, you mentioned it goes
Let's get some
beyond just
pictures
the
now.
folks
Come
that we
on.
saw
I want
on
some
camera
pictures.
waiting and working through those tense moments, but their friends, their families, and everything it took to get to this point. We're still expecting an image. We expect that to come down sometime in the future, especially as we look towards some high resolution images. Let's go ahead and it sounds like we do have a message we'd like to cut to. Can we have that message special for our folks, our employees, and folks watching at home?
Hey, that's right. With Nova C landing at Malapert A, congratulations, like you said, Josh, are flooding
Bill
into the teams
Nelson,
that made this happen. Really sets a tone
administrator
for
at NASA's
the American
congratulating the
leadership
company.
and the future of a strong lunar economy.
Former
So here's
administrator, I should
NASA
say.
Administrator Bill Nelson.
Hell yeah. This guy's a legend.
On the 8th day of a 250,000-mile voyage, a voyage along the Great Cosmic Bridge from the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center to the target of the south pole of the moon, a commercial lander named Odysseus, powered by a company called Intuitive Machines, launched upon a SpaceX rocket carrying a bounty of NASA scientific instruments and bearing the dream of a new adventure in science, innovation, and American leadership in space. Well, all of that aced the landing of a lifetime. Today, for the first time in more than a half century, the U.S. has returned to the moon. Today, for the first time in the history of humanity, a commercial company, an American company, launched and led the voyage up there. And today is a day that shows the power and promise of NASA's commercial partnerships. Congratulations to everyone involved in this great and daring quest at Intuitive Machines, SpaceX, and right here at NASA. What a triumph. Odysseus has taken the moon. This feat is a giant leap forward for all of humanity. Stay tuned.
Hell yeah.
All right, thank you, Administrator Nelson.
The reason there's no pictures yet is probably there's still a massive cloud of debris
at
around the lander.
5:23 p.m.
And if we
Central
got a
Time
picture, it would
today,
literally be
February
a cloud.
22nd, 2024.
And
congratulations
this is the
to
company's
Intuitive
first
Machines
picture
on
and
the
video.
successful
They
landing.
are going to be very
Science and data
selective of what
gathering
they
is
pick
already underway and will
to release to
continue
the
for
public,
roughly 7
because
days
this is their
on the lunar
reputation on the line.
surface,
They're not going to release some
activating
garbage
payloads
picture
and
until
gathering
they know
important
what's
scientific
going
data
out. So
to help ensure future successes in Artemis missions. For
whatever
more about
pictures and
NASA's
video they
CLIPS
release are going
initiative,
to be released
visit
to the world. So.
nasa.gov/clips.
Gary, it's been quite a journey for all of us at Intuitive Machines. Thanks to NASA for the continued support to enable today's successful landing, and of course, everyone at Intuitive Machines, their friends and family who made all of this possible. That will wrap up our coverage of Intuitive Machines' IM-1 mission. Thanks for joining us.
So hopefully they have another feed.
And what a historic day we have had. IM-1 has landed on the surface of the moon. If it was your first time here, though, thank you so much for joining us here at the launch pad. My name is Zach, and on behalf of the entire TLP crew, congratulations to NASA, SpaceX, Intuitive Machines, and everyone involved. America has landed back on the moon, and we are entering a new era.
Oh, press the wrong button.
Return to Earth, special news coverage, exclusive one-on-one interview, factory tour, and something we're excited to now add to that, lunar landings. If you haven't yet, make sure to join us over on the TLP Discord. Keep sending us those IM-1 lunar landing watch party photos. We're going to be doing a big shout out on social media, but that is going to do it for our TLP Canada studio. Enjoy our 24/7 ISS live views from the space station. We'll see you back here in a few hours for a SpaceX Starlink launch or another time. But from our TLP Canada studio, my name's Zach, and on behalf of the entire TLP crew, we will see you next time, because space is better together. Go IM-1.
Well, that was disappointing. They didn't have no pictures or anything. But I assume they're going to release them later. That they did that with when they landed the Mars rover too. Any kind of rover they landed on any other place. And I know people think they're trying to fake something, but there's absolutely no money to be made in faking any of this. This is a huge industry that's about to be made in that space exploration, and I don't see any money to be made in faking that. So. But that is wild that they don't have any more streams. I don't see. There was literally 30,000 people live in there, and they just ended it. Let me see what else I can find. Well, no, literally. Their live event ended. Well, that was disappointing that they just literally ended it like that. Hold on a second. But they successfully landed. How far they landed is kind of still up the question, but that's the way a lot of these companies are. I've been watching space for a while. And sometimes they will end the feed without really telling you much. Yeah, we got that giveaway. Let me bring that back up too. We'll give this away and continue on in our day here. There we go. Yeah, we'll see what kind of videos and pictures. I'm sure if you pay attention to the news, we'll start releasing them, and they'll probably be pretty cool. Gotta send it to editing first. Yeah. Who knows? They might. Obviously, if the signal's weak, they're not going to be sending data. So my assumption is first communication with this device is probably a simple communication. It's probably a hello, are you alive? Send something back, and then eventually, as it continues to boot up, the system starts to operate more. It will send pictures because you have to remember that sending pictures requires energy, and this device only has so much energy, so it only has enough battery power to last 14 days, and then it's going to get too cold and it's going to basically freeze to death. So a lot of that is the issue too, is just sending the video files from the device to Earth. And I know that's how they landed the moon rover. not the moon rover, Mars rover. Many times it would send back its first communication would be back, I'm alive, I made it, and I'm rebooting and in preparation for the full mission. So they only use partial of the device until it's the whole thing is actually warmed up. It's been soft this whole time. Who knows even know if it survived? Maybe it's just a pile of mesh, but their antenna was so powerful, so well made that it actually sent a signal back that it was alive. But we'll find out with time. Sometimes those launches are boring too. But we're gonna have another launch here March 5th. I believe they're going to try to do the Starship, SpaceX Starship, and it will be the third launch. And I know a lot of you people watched that in the past, but that gets wildly crazy. That whole prototype that SpaceX is developing is pretty awesome. And it's going to be exciting when that happens again. Hopefully it reaches further than last time. That's the goal every time, is to reach further than you did last time, especially when you're developing something new. And that prototype that SpaceX is developing is the thing that's actually going to take us to the moon. And then what's going to be the landing device is going to be something different. So there's going to be a lot of different machines. They're going to have starships. They're going to have landers, rovers. There'll be many different devices that land on the moon and do different things. Some of them will carry humans, and some of them will just carry, materials. But obviously, when we build on the moon, we're going to have to start bringing stuff up there more abundantly. But see what happens. We're going to start destroying the moon. It's pretty hard to hide going to the moon, but eventually when we start building stuff up there, you're going to be like, pull out a telescope and look and be like, well, we're really on the moon, So it's not like it's something that they'll be able to hide forever if there is any falsities to it, because we're going to start building on the side of the moon that you can see, obviously, because it's warmer there. The dark side of the moon is actually brutally cold, and it's not very comfortable to live in. So I assume a lot of what we build will be on the lighted side. To the moon. To the moon, as Elon Musk would say. One more poll. You guys, a little more people. Whoever wants to get in this giveaway for the Lion's Mane, hit that Lion's Mane hashtag. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go fuck up things out there, Chuck. We got to quit fucking up trees and go fuck up trees somewhere else. Well, not trees, but something to replace trees. I was saying earlier that a lot of the materials that we destroy on Earth, like say lithium, iron, copper, diamonds, all these things that we mine and we're actually destroying the Earth are extremely abundant on other planets and asteroids. And these other areas of our galaxy are not very pretty. They're basically chunks of rock that float around the moon or float around the sun. Destroying those things would be a lot better than destroying our Earth, because we're never going to stop mining. A lot of these things that we mine are things that we use in our cell phones, that we use in our computers that allow me to communicate with you, from halfway across the country. The only way to actually eliminate the mining of those resources is using the items, but that's pretty much nearly impossible, as a lot of us know. So fixing the planet is part of fixing the planet is also leaving the planet and finding other places to destroy, because we're never going to stop destroying things. That's what we are. We're explorers and destroyers. And we've been that for thousands of years. And anybody who thinks that's ever going to change in like one night, it's crazy, We're always going to be explorers and destroyers. Unless there's only one way we may fix that, and this is that everybody tonight does magic mushrooms. Every single person on the planet does magic mushrooms, and we all wake up tomorrow with some kind of different mentality and different thought process. That's about the only way that can happen. Yeah, we definitely have to find something to replace fossil fuels. That innovation's coming. It will definitely come, and I think it'll be nuclear fusion, and that'll eventually replace all energy. Then we don't have to worry about fossil fuels. But we're still probably 50 years from that, and a lot of technology still needs to be developed. But I'm hopeful for the future of how we'll solve energy. Our energy problems are not going to be solved with solar. Solar has its limitations, but it does not have a future with man once we develop that nuclear fusion. And that's the same thing with the batteries. I know these lithium batteries, the mines that, I don't know if you've ever watched the research, but they do a lot of destruction to the mines where they're at. And the trade-off is not very, I don't see a very good trade-off right now, but I think that the electronic battery industry will definitely lead to innovations down the road that will lead to better answers. I think sometimes you have to go down a road that doesn't seem the best navigational road, but eventually it will lead to something better. Because lithiums, especially, those lithium mines are destructive. And I know that Elon Musk knows that, but he has no other better solution right now than to build them. But that's where we're at as a human species. We don't have anything better than that right now. We're still developing stuff. Things are rapidly changing, and going into space definitely helps it happen faster. A lot of innovation happened in the 60s, led to innovations with our cell phones, with the internet, with computers. A lot of that stuff that happened in the 80s was based off of stuff we discovered in the 60s with, exploring the moon. Minecraft got people out here thinking, yeah, you can use the craft table to build a better life. Hey, my nephew showed me how to play Minecraft this summer, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I think I'll be playing that with my nephews a lot more. I really like Minecraft because it actually helps. It helps the child be really creative, even though it's in a world like that. Being creative is really good for a child. So I always invite people to have their kids play that game because it is pretty cool. I like being creative still at age 42, so that's probably why I like playing it. We are the invasive species we warn people about. We will continue to be. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to not be that way. It's like it's almost in our DNA as a human. We're kind of selfish by nature, and getting past the selfishness that we all have, it's hard, as a humankind to move past. Because it's hard for us to envision a future. A lot of us have difficulty. We all think that this world we live in is going to be that way all the time, but the truth is we live in a very fragile world that at any moment could fall apart. Whether it be a massive volcano, an asteroid that hits Earth, there are a number of events that could happen that could, destruct this whole thing we've spent hundreds of years building. Or a solar flare like today. We could have a bigger solar flare that could literally knock out all communication. It could knock out all internet. Every single person on Earth could lose internet in one day and not have any way to contact anybody. I mean, wouldn't that be a weird world? That might actually be a good thing. The solar flare may save humanity. Brings us back to the 90s where we actually go outside and talk to our neighbors. Yeah. Chuck Rock, you're probably right. The truth is, however harsh reality is, natural selection is very natural. And if you research natural selection and how it works with other species, it's very intriguing. Now, I'm not saying we should be going around killing people who have good genes and stuff like that, because everybody deserves to live. Everybody deserves happiness. But that part of nature is definitely very intriguing when you look into natural selection. And if that the way nature works, that's the way nature intended. It was the strongest survive, the weakest don't, and then eventually nature altogether is strong. And people don't have common sense, for sure. People don't have the awareness. That's why you have to have that awareness to be able to envision the Earth in 50 years and be like, I wonder if what I'm doing today is going to fuck up, what my grandkids do. And it's hard to do that or have that mentality and think about what this place will look like in 50 years. But I imagine it will be a very different place. And hopefully it's still a good place. Hopefully we haven't gotten into World War III yet, but I don't envision that won't happen. I know, because as destructive humans we are, there will eventually be another war, another big war. And hopefully it's not over with the moon. And I know there's the only country that really scares me right now is China. But on a good note, China does not want war right now because they are spending so much money on their space program. But war costs a lot of money. People need to remember that war is expensive. And as a country innovates itself, especially into space, China does not want anything to do with a war at the moment. But eventually they will. Eventually they may, and I worry about that day. But I think right now in the next couple decades, I don't see any large war because it's so expensive. To wage a war can literally bankrupt the country, and a lot of people forget how expensive that is. And China right now, they just actually doubled their spending on space in 2018. That is when Trump enacted the space military. I can't remember the name of them because we saw that China was doubling the amount of money they spent in space, and then we needed some kind of protection program, to keep China. Damn, guys, you know what? When the warm weather hits, people start yelling outside. Somebody started yelling outside, and somebody's not very happy. But I kind of live in the ghetto in my town, and sometimes people come by yelling. I don't hear it anymore, but somebody was definitely yelling pretty loud about half a block away. Sorry, I got distracted. I've lived down here for 15 years, and I actually had to break up a fight on the other side of the street between a man and a woman, and I had to call the police. But that's kind of sometimes the neighborhood you live in. Get back to twerking, Chuck. Yeah, you're more than likely right, Rose. But I don't think any country wants a war because it's too expensive. They'd rather spend their money on something else, like spend it on the elites or other things, because it's been the billions of dollars and to spend a war. And we can see it with Russia now. Russia is really struggling financially with the war they're in. Although they are a much bigger country than Ukraine, that's their advantage right now. He's probably yelling, "We landed on the moon." Happens here too. All right. I live across the street from a nursing home, so the nursing home covers 2 blocks. It's a pretty large nursing home. There's no really crime around there because they have 24-hour security and cameras all over the building. So my house is a pretty safe area. There's no crime really around here, but you'll have people who walk through, as they call them, the transients who walk through and may cause problems or may start yelling at somebody, and it's usually what I hear around here. Especially when it gets warmer and you get your windows open. It could have been, but he didn't sound very happy. Last night there were 2 cops around the corner, and there was actually a woman who was attempting to try to get arrested. He kept yelling at the police, and the cop. I heard the cop saying, "You're talking yourself into getting arrested," and they told her to walk away. And they may actually be at that house again. There's an apartment up the street that the cops are there once a week. I don't know what's going on there, but somebody's still yelling. I just heard one word he yelled, but that's all I heard. People are funny. I stick to myself around here, Joseph. I like my house. It's built in 1904. It's a little cute, I guess you call it cute. As women, I have a lot of women who tell me that it's cute. It has a lot of character to it. I like it. It has a basement that allows me to have a mushroom and cannabis farm, and I'm happy here. But it is entertaining sometimes, if you get the entertainment in the ghetto. Yeah, the best story I have is when one day, and I used to have cameras around my house. They got old and they don't work anymore. But I was actually I was sitting in my house, and I was just happened to look at the cameras, and I noticed two police officers sneaking up behind my neighbors in the backyard. Now the woman that lived there is the niece of the owner of the house. She was there with her boyfriend, and he apparently had a felony warrant out for his arrest. And these cops, they snuck up into the yard, snuck up to about 5 feet away from the dude, and until he turned around and saw them. He ran inside the house. They chased him into the house. The cops ran out the front door, thinking he ran through the house and out the front door. The cops come running through my front yard to the other side of my yard. And then eventually they realized that he's on the roof of the house. He had run through the house, ran through the stairs, jumped out of a window and climbed to the top of the house. So by this point, there was at least 15 officers surrounding the house. And they took him about 30 minutes to talk him down, but they did. So it's pretty funny. It was really comical to watch happen. But they eventually got the guy. So the moral of the story is, if you have a felony warrant out, you're eventually probably going to get caught. And I think that was funny that the police went to those lengths to try to catch him and attempting to sneak up on him. But let's bring that hashtag back up here. That's right there. We got 36 entries in here. I'll give you guys a split second to get in there. I've only been live for an hour and a half. I feel like I've been live for a lot longer than that. Samantha, I hope I'm saying that name right. Hope you're doing well. I told my stalker that my cams don't work anymore. They still blink red and they still look like they work. People just don't know they don't record. I'm eventually going to update my camera system so that, I might have already updated it. Who knows? Oh, I know, Jane. I know how that is. I live in the ghetto where you're not going to get killed, but you're going to see a lot of comical things. There every once in a while. My city does average 1.5 murders per year, and there have been a few of them within a few blocks of my house, but they're not like random crimes. Anytime there's a murder, they're usually people who were doing things they shouldn't have been doing, drug robberies and stuff like that. There was actually a shooting recently where a 16-year-old girl was shot, and she was actually attempting to rob a house, and the homeowner, there was 3 juveniles. The homeowner opened fire on them and killed one of the 16-year-olds. And he didn't get charged with it. Of course, it's his property. They're in his house, and he's allowed to do that. But the other criminals who were caught, they didn't get charged with murder. And apparently, Illinois just changed the law where if you commit a felony where somebody else is killed by your felony, you can't get charged with them anymore. So they only got 14 months in jail for killing this girl in this robbery. When eventually 3 years ago they would have probably got 30 years. And I don't like that law changed, because they, even though they're juveniles, they still should serve. Yeah, it is horrible. And I'm sure that guy feels horrible for doing that, but he was just, he was protecting himself. He was protecting his house, and everybody has that right to protect themselves. I would surely do the same thing if somebody came to my house and I had the ability to protect myself. I would certainly not hesitate to do that. Manifesting that. Well, it was a well documented trial in our city. They just got sentenced to it all, and the local media was talking about, and as well as the local district attorney was very disappointed that Illinois changed that law and he was not allowed to prosecute him with actual second-degree murder. Because the former law would have allowed the DEA to charge them with second-degree murder, but now it's only a manslaughter charge, which is manslaughter in Illinois is not you can get anywhere from probation to a couple of years. And these juveniles had no prior record, so they got off kind of easy, even though somebody did die. But there's no consequences now for these young people who think they can, walk into a house and pull off an armed robbery and somebody returns fire and kills somebody. And then they only get, they got 18 months in jail. I think they'll probably serve 16 months or so, but yeah, I know you, Chuck, probably for sure. Someone to come to my house. And I hope you do. I hope everybody out there takes whatever necessary precautions to protect their family. But damn, these young kids need to have more consequences, even if it involves a lot of prison time. Some consequences, there are big, or some things like that, there are big consequences with them. Sometimes we're not teaching that to young children. What's going on, Philip? How you doing? Dolores, how you doing? I'm giving away some lion's mane. Again, this is some of the stuff my mushroom business sells, greatrivermushrooms.com. I sell it for $13 for a month supply or $24. It's on sale right now for a 2-month supply, 120 capsules. So I'm going to give you, whoever today wins, I'm going to give you a month supply. But definitely go check it out. It's really affordable. Go buy it for somebody in your family who you may really think it'll benefit, because I promise you that it works. And I actually have a guarantee that if my lion's mane product does not work as intended, I will refund you the money. But I have not had to do that yet. I have not had one refund yet because this stuff works. All I have to do is get it in your hands, and I let nature do the rest, because this stuff truly does work. Does eliminate brain fog. It truly helps you focus more, and it helps you enjoy life a lot better. A lot of you know Gabe over on Ohio 420. He's living proof of that. He said he was struggling to move past his brother's death and concentrate on doing things in his house that he hadn't done for years. And he was able to take that lion's mane and push through. And he said he really started seeing behavior changes and doing different things, like cleaning a section of your house that you may not have touched for 2 years. It may not seem like a big deal, but that's what the lion's mane helps you do. Focus on those things that need to get done that maybe you haven't. So go check it out and get in this giveaway, and go check out their website as well. There's a lot more information, and we also have turkey tail as well. There's a crap load of information on there about turkey tail. Really, really good for if you're sick or anything like that. And in fact, I can go over there. I actually put so much information on there. It's pretty intriguing how it actually all works, the turkey tail. But it has a lot of really beneficial minerals, and it's basically a prebiotic. So check out the turkey tail as well. It is the same price as the lion's mane, month supply, and I'll eventually have larger bottles of that as well, of the turkey tail. So turkey tail is really good for anybody who may have cancer, who may be sick a lot, or who may, there's a lot of other benefits to it as well. It also is really good for people who exercise. It allows, there's a study that was done that people who exercise more, the turkey tail will benefit. So it's really interesting. Got any of that cougar? It's the Cougar's Den. That's what I told Ohio 420 to call his store, is Ohio 420's Cougar's Den. But believe that or not, there's a daycare. There's a daycare 20 minutes away from me that's actually called the Cougar's Den. And every time I drive by there, I just chuckle at the name. The Cougar's Den Daycare Center. And I'm like, well, that's an odd name. I'm like, do they realize that there's actually strip clubs in America that have that almost exact name? Oh, the short video on lion's mane, is that what you were talking about? Or the video on my website? Is that what you meant? Joey just popped sunshine. Oh, I gotta go see that. I'm not sure what video you're talking about, Diane. Maybe you're talking about the YouTube video. Talking about the one that I have. Let me see if I can find it. The lion's mane. There it is. Huh. There we go. I found it. Let me bring it up here real quick. So this is the video that actually explains lion mane. I'll play that really quick.
Lion's mane mushroom benefits. Support your brain health, boost your focus and memory, and improve your mood with this nootropic shroom. Brain health. Lion's mane mushroom stimulates nerve growth factor, NGF, and brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which jumpstart the production of new cells, strengthen existing ones, and increase brain plasticity. Alleviate symptoms of neurodegenerative diseases. Lion's mane mushroom improves cognitive function, protects against the effects of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and reduces inflammation. It provides your body with antioxidants. Antioxidants help you make more BDNF and neutralize free radicals. Free radicals cause inflammation and damage to your brain cells. Improves mood and focus. Lion's mane mushroom reduces depression and anxiety. It promotes learning, memory, and attention. It also improves blood flow, which brings more oxygen to your noggin. How to take it. It tastes like fishy dirt, so it doesn't mix well with other foods or drinks. Instead, try it in capsule, extract, or powder form, but buyer beware. Make sure the company discloses how much active compound versus filler you're getting. Learn more at
And our mushrooms at Great River Mushrooms are 100% mushrooms. There is no filler. There is no mycelium. You are getting 100% what you ask for. So that is a promise as well. So make sure you ask anybody else buy it from that as well. But I promise you that this stuff you will actually have a very good. Oh, turn that other screen back up. Hold on a second. You'll have a very good reaction to this, and you'll actually see a lot of benefits to using lion's mane. But we'll go to my website too. I'll show you that real quick. So over here at Great River Mushrooms, and you can see the lion's mane as well here. And go check out the reviews. There are 10 different reviews of how this stuff has benefited people. And these are all reviews from people who have bought my products. So they're specifically people who have bought this exact lion's mane. What's going on, Tasha? How you doing? Rasta Rhino. So you'll be able to go there. There's also, you can select sizes, 60 capsules, 120. And then also you can go to view all products and see that we offer just more than lion's mane, eco oil, CBD, CBG. We're currently out of stock of honey, but we also even do sell CBD flower and CBG flower. Now we will have the CBG flower there as well, but if you were ever looking for affordable CBD flower as well, I do sell that, and you can check out the prices. It's actually pretty affordable, and I sell the exact same CBD and CBG flower that I actually use myself. So go check out the website. There's a lot more than just mushrooms on there for sure. So also, there's that new turkey tail, and you can see same price as the lion's mane. You just put on here, and there's a whole bunch of information on here about the turkey tail specifically. It goes into a lot of detail of how it actually works with the body to do what it actually does. So again, the turkey tail is packed with antioxidants, boosts immunity, has anti-tumor effects, increased exercise performance, improved gut health, reduced inflammation, and lower blood sugar in people with type 2 diabetes. So all some of the really good benefits of that turkey tail as well. And again, it is really affordable too. So, but enough of the talking. Let's give away this lion's mane and continue on our night here. Let me bring that back up. And thank you guys, everybody, for joining again tonight for the moon mission, which kind of had an incomplete ending, and I have not seen anything else about what happened. But pay attention to the news. I'm going to share some pictures on my profile too tomorrow whenever we get some available of what happened during the moon landing. So, again, hit that like, love, reaction button as well tonight. Hit them love buttons for Chuck Rock. You know, Donnie, I'm not really sure. I have not done any research on it for dogs or animals, but you're welcome to message me and I'll look more into it. But it's actually more like a prebiotic than a probiotic. And I don't exactly remember the difference between pre and probiotic, but they say it's more like a prebiotic, turkey tail is. I do believe that most mushrooms, and I actually remember looking at this yesterday, most mushrooms you should not give to animals because some animals actually are allergic to them. And an allergic reaction, when you don't know if they're allergic or not, could actually kill them. So it is not CBD and CBG. I would recommend more for animals than any kind of mushrooms, just for that fact that some animals can have a reaction to them, and that reaction can kill them. But plus CBG is a lot more powerful effects, because obviously a brain, you don't know if a dog has brain fog, or cognitive effects very much as well as a human does, because obviously we can talk and communicate that across that we're feeling better, or that the lion's mane helps. So can't really do that with a dog. Shave your lion's mane, y'all, for sure. Heck yeah, Joseph. You got 41 people in here. I'm surprised you never got it. I give away lion's mane a lot, and I always like seeing new people win it. So anybody who joins my lives, I usually give it away. And so hopefully, Joe, I'm wishing you some luck on this one. Still got more people coming in, though. Website is greatrivermushrooms.com. And it's spelled just like it said, Great River Mushrooms, and then .com. It should take you right there. And again, we have about 20 different items. I don't ship mushrooms. That may be something I eventually do, but all the mushrooms that I grow are sold at local markets. You can buy my canned products. I currently do not have any canned mushrooms, but it is something I will offer, and we'll be able to ship out. So we'll have canned mushrooms, and of course, my really, really popular cream of mushroom soup is available on there right now. We have that available in shiitake brand, or a shiitake mushroom. That is one of our very popular food products, besides our lion's mane. So check that out as well. And it's a lot easier too as well to afford shipping. The soup, if you buy it alone, is like $4 or $5. But if you add other products onto it, it makes the shipping a lot more affordable. So that is a tip that I offer on the website, because obviously it's not cheap to ship a 16-ounce jar of soup. That's just the way it is right now. So, but adding more things to it can make it affordable. We still got some more people coming in. Appreciate you guys. Got 30 people in the house. Just talking about a little bit about mushrooms after the rocket launch earlier. Let me see if I've heard anything else about this launch. It's loud. All the events have ended. I don't see any. Even NBC ended. Don't see anything about it. I guess we'll have to wait. All that has been released so far is U.S. company says its lunar lander has reached the surface of the moon, transmitted weak signal. There's still no update on any of that so far, so still wait to hear. I imagine if that thing landed like I imagined, it probably shot a lot of debris into the air, and when that debris actually hits the air, it actually causes miscommunication, obviously, or a fog in the communication. So it's not able to adequately pick up a signal. So that might be the debris falling slowly, because remember, there's no gravity. So anything that kind of shoots out into space is going to take a long time before it eventually goes wherever it's going, wherever momentum will take it. That's the way most stuff works in that, I guess. It's the way it works in space. Energy, basically however much energy it created to push that out of the way is how far it will go. So we'll probably get a lot of word tomorrow. And again, check my Facebook and I'll share some pictures and some videos if the company releases them by then. But I assume they will. And the only reason they won't is if there's some kind of malfunction or something didn't go right. We got 46 people in here now. 46 people in that giveaway. I'm gonna give my timer 1 minute now. I'm actually gonna hit it. So I know there's still more people coming in, but all right, let's give it 1 minute. We're gonna hit that giveaway, folks. Thank you guys again for joining me again tonight. Like as you guys know, I do like nerding out a lot, talking about space stuff. And we'll probably have another live feed whenever SpaceX shoots off their Starship, which I heard is March 6th or 7th. I think that is a Tuesday. We'll find out as that date approaches. The Starship is now fully stacked in Texas and waiting approval from the FAA to fly it. And that usually takes a couple weeks from when they fully stack it. So we'll see what happens. And that's probably when we'll do another space live. And that's going to be awesome. That'll be awesome. All right, we'll give it 10 more seconds and we'll give this away. And good luck, everybody. Cheers. That is Joyce.
Like, comment, and
oh, that's the wrong button. There we go. Jeez. Eddie, you're still here. Betty, are you still here? Give it a second. Turn some of that music on. Yeah. Sir Steve-O still in the house? Yeah. All right, I'm going to give it 1 minute, and then we'll hit it again. We'll roll it here. I'm going to roll it 50 seconds. So I like giving people a little bit of time. I at least try to be fair. I got a fully loaded bowl anyway, and I said cheers, and then I never hit it. So I'm going to hit it here in this next 40 seconds. Got too many things open here. I'm trying to find the. There we go. Got 45 entries. Roll that beautiful mushroom pudding. All right. I'm sorry, Betty, you weren't here. And we'll see who else will win this. Good luck, everybody. Shane Briggs. That's the first time winner in my show. I don't think Shane has joined my show many times. I don't think he's ever won anything. Not that I can remember. Let's give him that applause. There we go. Oh, that's loud. Shane Briggs, are you here? Please tell me you're here. I want to give you a prize. You definitely have joined a lot of my podcast. We'll see. You gotta get Shane Briggs not here. Stepped into that. It probably did take too long. Oh, it happens. Sometimes I get to talking too much and I forget about a giveaway and too much time passes. But there's still a lot of people in here. I wanted to give it to somebody who's still in here. That's what I want to give it to. So I'm going to give it 30 seconds more. Seconds. Sometimes I give it to people when they're not here, but today I feel like giving it to somebody who's still here. So we'll give it 15 more seconds and we'll hit it again. Therapy Thursday over there. I think Sir Steve-O's live. We got Ohio 420 probably live. And I'm probably going to go join him after here. Donnie Whitehead's here. Donnie Whitehead's here. All right, we're going to hit this again, guys. I do not see Shane. I did not see Shane. I did not see Shane. We'll hit it again. Good luck, everybody. Oh, it's almost landed on Joseph. Joseph, that was almost you. Barry Wood. Barry Wood. Did I not just see you in here? Yeah, but I saw you say congratulations. Barry Wood, you still here? Perry Wood, there you are. We got a winner finally. Perry Wood, shoot me your address, and I'll give you shoot that lion's mane. And Joseph, if you ever want to try, I do give out samples of lion's mane. I only give out a week's worth though of samples. So if anybody ever wants some samples of lion's mane, I won't hesitate to shoot them to you, because like I said, once I get them into your hands, kind of do the rest. It'll help you a lot. So it's a lot easier to get samples out locally, but I can also ship them as well. And I didn't even give you a round of applause, Perry. Hold on a minute. There we go. Congratulations, Perry. And if anybody just private message me about samples, again, my profile is Dan Baird. Dan Baird, Dan the Mushroom Man. I'm the only one on Facebook that's called that, so you can't really miss it. So if you search Dan Baird, Dan the Mushroom Man, you'll see it in parentheses. But congratulations, Perry, and I thank you for joining me tonight. I thank everybody for joining me tonight. Turn that down again. And joining me in another presentation of the space. What did I call it again? See, I don't even do enough space things. I forget the name of it. It really should be, it's the Space and Rocket Lounge, but it really should be the Space, Smoke, and Rocket Lounge. That would have been the best name, wouldn't you guys think? Space, Smoke, and Rocket Lounge. That's where we talk about space, rockets, and smoke some cannabis. But again, thank you guys for joining me again. I really, really appreciate it. Give me one more like or reaction too, so we can get to 40. And I hope you guys have a beautiful Thursday night. Again, go check out Sir Stevo or Ohio 420. They're both live right now. And I'm going to end this with the Rumination Project intro. I know a lot of you have not seen that, but I do have another podcast called the Rumination Project, and we talk a lot about it, but different subjects, and this video will kind of explain that. So thank you guys for joining me again. I'll see you guys later. So much love, guys.